Hello, hello. Today I'm going to talk about Sword Art Online again. This is going to be a timeline and sort of guide covering the differences between the light novel order and the chronological order, and also sort of an explanation of why. I'm going to try to keep this short so it works well as a guide, so no further ado. The short story is that the Aincrad arc was initially a single volume and was then expanded multiple times with side stories. When making the anime, they made the decision, which I agree with, to turn it all into chronological order. It sort of messes up the pacing because you have a bunch of side stories shoved in there, but I don't think there was really a better option, as otherwise they would have had to basically rewrite it. So the goal here is to run through the light novels and put them on a chronological timeline, which also conveniently is mostly an anime timeline because the anime is, again, almost in chronological order, and there's only a few differences I'll have to call out. Book 1 starts with the beginning of episode 8, with Kirito fighting the Lizardman. I somewhat suspect that this was potentially going to be the start of this season, and they were going to do this as a flash forward and then flash back to do everything before it, but obviously they decided not to. After fighting it, Kirito muses to himself, and we flash back to episode 1 and the start of the game. With his wool gathering completed, he heads back to town and encounters an S class ingredient and an S class waifu, and we follow the rest of that from episode 8 to 10 with him teaming up with Asuna through getting dragooned into Knights of Blood and betrayed by Kuradil and then retiring. Then we skip forward a little bit to episodes 13 and 14 where they return to fight the 75th floor boss and Kaiba, ending the arc. Volume 2 is all side stories, starting with Black Swordsman with Silica, Warmth of the Heart with Lisbeth, Morning Dew Girl with Yui, and Sachi's Doomed Guild in Red Nosed Reindeer. This leaves episodes 2 and 5 and 6. I'll get to 5 and 6 a little bit later, but episode 2 is actually anime original. It's later turned into the progressive light novels, but as of airing, it was original. I may have some not entirely positive things to say in a video about progressive at some point, so maybe stay tuned for that. After volume 2, it's pretty smooth sailing for a bit. Volumes 3 and 4 cover Alfheim, and the only order difference here is that they fall Kirito and Sugu fall down into Jotunheim, and that happens in the beginning of volume 4 in the light novels, while in the anime it is pushed back until the Caliburn arc. I will quibble with this decision a little bit because I think having them see Excalibur was deliberate, because when Sugo tries to summon it, it's meant to further highlight how he's trying to use shortcuts and admin hacks to get what he wants instead of working for anything. Without that, him summoning it is just a random weapon name. Similarly, the GGO arc is No Notes, volumes 5 and 6, all in chronological order. Volume 7 and 8 are the last real timeline jumps. Volume 7 is Mother's Rosario, and then Volume 8 contains the murder mystery from Aincrad, which is episodes 5 and 6. Side note, it's a much better story in the light novel. It gets a lot more coverage, and we get to see Kirito's thought processes a lot more. I think it's a little bit of a shame that how much they had to cut it down for the anime. Then we have the Caliber arc in Volume 8 as well. That takes place before My Mother's Rosario, but was obviously written afterward. And then we have a cut first day story, which covers what Kirito does after leaving Klein in episode 1. Then we have Ordinal Scale, which is another anime original. It's canon in the light novels as far as I know, but it hasn't been turned into a book. Then we have Alicization, volumes 9 through 18, all in chronological order. No notes there. They may have moved where they cut in Asuna's chapters a bit throughout, but not any notable changes. There's another cut chapter here where Kirito and Yujiro fight in this little tournament to qualify to go to this academy after they finish cutting down the tree. But this is another thing I kind of think they cut out, which shouldn't have, because it sort of introduces some ideas that are used later with like nobles and other bad people skirting around the rules, kind of rules lawyering the do not harm other people rules. Um, they also stole Asuna's best scene by giving the guy from Ordinal Scale a cameo, but that's unrelated. Lastly, we have volume 19 and 20, which are Moon Cradle. This covers Asuna and Kirito's adventures while they are stuck in Underworld for several hundred years. This is obviously before they are awakened out of Underworld, so technically before the epilogue of Alicization, but that's a minor change. And then we have Unital Ring and whatever else is in the future. Until we get further anime adaptations, this is basically the timeline. Maybe in 5 or 10 years, I'll remake this and learn how to edit. Uh, Thanks for watching. Sub if you want to. Let me know if there's anything you think I should talk about. See ya.